to Jason's video about the info dump and character introduction and whatnot. Um, in particular, my suggestion to give a little exposition at the start, which I think um, it is interesting what you stated, Jason. And I've never given it much thought. I know that I've been involved in games where we did a little preliminarily, set up with characters meeting and whatnot, even though that gets cumbersome and tiresome and whatnot, to where you don't want to make a habit out of it, and don't want to and want to try to avoid it at all costs. In fact, when I give my little traveler um, favorite game thing, one of the things I like about it is that whenever you're doing your character gen mini game, everybody does it, and so that way you can tie in your characters together, and you have a reason that you're all there together in the crew, right? So it takes care of that aspect of it. So, but I think at the moment, whenever we pulled in, Jorian decided to play, and it was down to the last minute when I got up because I was doing a lot of running, and I gave him a very brief, rundown of the attributes and how do you play it and all they were, in a vague reference to the era of the science fiction. And well, anyway, I think at that moment, whenever I said that, it was to pull up of like, I think probably subconsciously in the back of my mind, it was more like a Star Trek thing where you'd hear Kirk's voice coming and you see the ship and he's, that they've been sent to do this task or to that task or whatever. So I just thought that would be a good little segue into, especially kind of cluing him in rapidly into how and why we were out there. And plus, you had put a lot. I was honestly impressed because the game itself, you had crafted a kind of an evocative setting and world and summarized it. I mean, all this wasn't written in the book, but you provided the corporation's name and what we were doing out there, and for the reason we were heading out there, and it was a little bit compelling. So maybe in a portion of it, I thought that the work put in that might itself lend to a little segue into it. I'm just talking about all the things that upon my reflection of it, that would lend into why I prompted that. Um, but it was primarily to catch him up to speed, and secondarily, maybe I thought like in the back of my head, maybe like a Star Trek type thing of saying why we were out there and going out there, and then have the roll into uh, David waking up. But it's not like a necessary to have character introductions at the start and uh, exposition heavy reference. I mean, when it comes down to it, I like to jump into play and get the ball rolling, you know. But I mean, as far as adding some kind of flavor to it or putting an atmosphere into it, uh, maybe a little mini exposition wasn't so bad, you know. But it's certainly, I don't think in my mind it wasn't for the playthrough. Maybe a little bit for a reference in case we ever did some little, round robin DMing, which you had mentioned back and forth. Because a lot of times when we do the actual plays, it's to go back and reference information, and not that you didn't write down a good bit of it, but it's just to have some kind of record of where we've been and what happened to play off of. Because I like doing that anyway. You notice in some room I'll pull up an old record and go, yeah, that can what happened in a previous session can find its way back into current situation, like David's little tryst with a noble woman, you know, and but nevertheless, it's yeah, it was good. It was good, man. I didn't think um, I didn't think that really was over cumbersome to do, even though you yielded. It was totally up to you whether you wanted to do that or not, you know. But you picked up and did it, and it was all right. But I'm not a fan of of heavy narration. I like shared narration and building organically with the people at the table. You know, yielding to one another and rolling that way. But it's definitely interesting about how much, if exposition is is warranted. Like I guess, like I said in the back of my mind, maybe for that for that mood piece or setting, it might have been, you know, just to say uh, where we were in a spaceship and going to wake up in the middle of nowhere. Well, we all knew that, you know. But anyway, I don't know. It was a cool little trick. I had in my mind, you know, as far as like a Star Trek thing, but I wasn't consciously doing that because it was definitely just something I just, you know, threw out there real quick. But anyway, yeah, provoking and yeah, that was a good game. That was a good game, and I don't see no reason why it couldn't be continued in some capacity if we did round robin or if you picked it up and went on. It definitely left some questions that are still to be answered uh, and worthy, I think, to be tracked down um, as far as the players to find out what's going on. You know. So anyway, I'll get off here, but yeah, good video. All right, talk to you later.